behalf of Allianz and Beyond Autism, and of course our guest speaker, Professor Hawking, who will be speaking shortly, welcome. And I'm Karsten Scheffel, the CEO of Regional Unit London for Allianz Global Corporate Specialty. So how this event all came about started about actually over 8 months ago, where Professor Hawking came up with the idea, and Beyond Autism approached Allianz and said we'd like to do a venue. And right here at the Royal Institute is the location picked. So it's a first not only for Allianz, it's a first for Beyond Autism, and it's also a first for Professor Hawking, who you'll see in a minute. So it's a great occasion to be here. We have a group called Club 60. That's our committee that works on behalf of our company and the employees, and we pick charities every year. And I'm pleased to say that the group has decided, so it's an employee-based decision, that in addition to this year's sponsorship, we've agreed to continue for another 2 years.
We are especially grateful to Professor Hawking and honoured that he has chosen to give a lecture on our behalf. As someone who has spent his life overcoming tremendous challenges to communicate so brilliantly, his support for the work that we do to enable children who face similar hurdles is particularly inspiring. We are also so grateful to Allianz, who are our partners this evening. They have beautifully organised this event, every aspect of it. They have covered all of the costs associated with this event, and as well have given us a very generous donation. And now, as you've just heard, they have made us also their partners for the next few years for charity, which is just wonderful. Thank you, Allianz. Beyond Autism educates children with severe autism. We also provide outreach, training, and support to other schools and other professionals. The children that we see often cannot communicate at all. They have extremely challenging behaviors. They can't even manage simple tasks like putting their coat on or drinking from a cup. The strain on their families is immense, and every milestone our children reach gives them and their families the hope of a brighter future. Despite the challenges, they really are extraordinary children, and with your support, we can help them make the most of their extraordinary lives.
Chris was introduced to the school about 2 years ago through a friend of mine who has an autistic son here. Just in those 2 years, some of these children I met back then, the difference in their, the way they can interact with each other and with staff and with people like me who don't come in every day is incredible. Yay!
It's wonderful to look out on the kids when they play in the playground and to hear them laughing and playing together and relating to each other and to their carers. And over the years, we have discerned a difference in behaviour from some of the individual kids. We have nothing but admiration for the carers with their skill and their patience and their imagination.
It's a privilege to have them as neighbours, isn't it, really?
It is. We throw a lot of balls and toys back over the garden wall, but that's all right. Beyond Autism gives children with severe autism the skills to make sense of a complicated and confusing world. If they can be more independent, they'll need less care as they grow older. But there aren't enough school places to meet demand.
With more funding, Beyond Autism can create more spaces for severely autistic children. They can then work harder to prepare the children for when they finally leave school.
Please help the groundbreaking work that is helping change so many lives.
It now gives me the great honor and privilege to introduce Professor Hawking. And I did have a prepared speech, and it's all written. It's in my pocket on nice little cheat cards. But I decided just to really go for the flow here and say, how do you introduce somebody that has accomplished so much in life in such a short time? And it's really amazing, from writing books to traveling to having people's minds think about things, changing the way we think about the universe, adapting to change, and the list goes on and on, that I could be here for probably the whole event, and he wouldn't even have to speak, which is not the idea. So what I thought I'd do is instead allow him to speak as much as possible. And I must say, from inspiration for children and inspiration for people around the world to do and accomplish what he's done, including living through a disability, and to have watched him opening the Paralympics last year in London, of course, of all places, was an absolutely moving experience. So I would say from my side, I have great pleasure of introducing him, and he's going to speak today, obviously, about his journey. So without further delay on my side, Professor Stephen Hawking.
Can you hear me? Before we begin this journey into space and time, I would like to take a few moments to talk about the here and now on planet Earth. My lecture this evening has been sponsored by Allianz, who are making a generous donation to Beyond Autism. I would like to thank Allianz for their kindness in supporting such a good cause. You are helping autistic children and their families to have better lives, and for that, I give you my heartfelt thanks. Your support to these young people means the world to all of us here, and I applaud your actions. Well done and thank you. One of the great achievements of the human race is technology. Technology allows me to communicate with you. I speak through a computer, using an infrared sensor on my cheek to select words from the screen. It is my hope that one day, technology will be able to help children and adults with autism to communicate, as it has been able to help me. I am very thankful to be here today. I admire Beyond Autism greatly for their dedication to providing social and educational programs covering all aspects of life with autism. They have improved daily life for many young people with this disorder, and I am grateful to them for their support to children and young people with autism. Now that I have reached 71, I hope you will forgive me for looking back over my life and how our understanding of the state of the universe has changed. I will also try to look forward beyond the present horizon. My classmates gave me the nickname Einstein. Presumably they saw signs of something better. When I was 12, one of my friends bet another friend a bag of sweets that I would never come to anything. I don't know if this bet was ever settled, and if so, which way it was decided. When I came to the last 2 years of school, I wanted to specialize in mathematics and physics, because I thought this was the most fundamental science. Physics and astronomy offered the hope of understanding where we came from and why we were here. I also had an inspirational maths teacher, Mr. Tata. But my father was very much against this. He thought there wouldn't be any jobs for mathematicians, except as teachers. The big question in cosmology in the early 60s was, did the universe have a beginning? Many scientists were instinctively opposed to the idea, because they felt that a point of creation would be a place where science broke down. The beginning of the universe itself in the hot Big Bang is the ultimate high-energy laboratory for testing M-theory and our ideas about the building blocks of space-time and matter. Different theories leave behind different fingerprints in the current structure of the universe, so astrophysical data can give us clues about the unification of all the forces of nature. But we must also continue to go into space for the future of humanity. I don't think we will survive another 1,000 years without escaping beyond our fragile planet. I therefore want to encourage public interest in space, and I've been getting my training in early. So let me finish by reflecting on the state of the universe. It has been a glorious time to be alive and doing research in theoretical physics. So remember to look up at the stars and not down at your feet. Try to make sense of what you see and wonder about what makes the universe exist. Be curious. And however difficult life may seem, there is always something you can do and succeed at. It matters that you don't just give up. Thank you for listening.
Well, that was very nice. I thought it was for me for a minute, but no, it wasn't. Professor Hawking, thank you so much for joining us tonight on behalf of not only myself, but Beyond Autism and all the people here. Absolutely wonderful speech and lecture for us tonight. Very enjoyable. It reminds me a little bit of, in our industry, we always talk about being entrepreneurial, being innovative, adapting to change. And when you think of today and what you've listened to, you can see you've accomplished all of those plus more. And I think that's an absolutely amazing feat. Professor Hawking, thank you so much for an absolutely wonderful event, and to Beyond Autism for making this evening happen. And on behalf of Allianz, thank you so much for attending.